in a distant metallic city called Metalora, life had long vanished. The only sound was the whistling wind between steel skyscrapers, and the only movement came from the shadows of the sun sliding across rusted walls. Humans had disappeared decades ago, machines had shut down, and time itself seemed to have stopped. In this city lived a lonely robot named Sono. He wasn't built for war or factory work. His purpose was to play music on a unique instrument resembling a piano, crafted from glass and rare metals. His only task was to spread music and fill hearts with peace. But there were no hearts left to reach. 100 years had passed, and his hands hadn't played a single note. Every morning, Sono would wake from a dark corner inside an abandoned theatre, walk through the silent streets, and sit before a neglected garden, watching the grey sky, wondering if this silence was eternal. One day, while wandering through the ruins of the old market in search of spare parts, he heard a strange sound, soft chirping, followed by another. He stopped, slowly raised his head, and saw a small bird with grey and yellow feathers fluttering weakly before landing on a bent power pole. He carefully approached, but the bird didn't fly away. Instead, it moved closer and gently perched on his metal arm. It was the first time in a century that he had been touched by a living creature. He named her Lia, for her voice reminded him of a gentle melody long forgotten. From that moment, everything changed. Every morning, Lia would wake him with a gentle tap on his chest and sing short songs while he brought her the few berries that still grew on the city's edges. In the evening, they would return to the theatre, and he would play his instrument while she sat on his shoulder and sang along. Over time, the theatre began to glow. Lights that hadn't worked in decades began to flicker. The air grew a little warmer, and his music carried a strange new warmth. Sono began to feel something he had never known, something that resembled life. But the joy didn't last. Lia began to weaken. She stopped singing, her feathers started falling out, and she slept for long hours, barely breathing. Sono felt fear, a feeling he had not been programmed to understand. He searched through old books and digital archives until he found mention of a rare plant called the blue sunflower. It was said to heal weak creatures and give them strength, but it only grew in the heart of the old city, a place full of rogue machines, dense fog, and hidden dangers. Without hesitation, he packed a bag, said goodbye to Lia, who didn't respond, and set off. He crossed abandoned streets, faced maddened guardian machines, and avoided deadly traps. In the middle of the ruins, he found a small clearing where a single glowing blue flower bloomed under a pale light. But he wasn't alone. A giant robot guardian rose from the ground, its red eyes glowing, and attacked. Sono had no weapons, but he used his sound. He emitted a strong musical tone from his core, which vibrated through the air, disturbing the guardian's circuits just long enough for him to grab the flower and escape. He returned to the theatre, cracked and broken, but carrying hope. He gently crushed the flower and extracted a single drop of nectar, placing it in Lia's beak. Silence filled the room. Then a soft flutter. Then a faint chirp, followed by a strong note. Lia opened her eyes and sang louder than ever before. Music soared through the theatre, lighting up its walls, making the city tremble. Trees began to sprout from cracks in the ground, birds returned to the skies, and animals emerged from hiding. Sono was no longer just a machine, and Lia was no longer just a bird. Metalora became a city breathing again, filled with light and song. And the two of them sat side by side, playing together a tune everyone who returned to the city would soon recognize. The melody of love, hope, and friendship that brought a forgotten world back to life. And that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the content and found it helpful. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to share them in the comments below. I'll make sure to reply. Don't forget to support me by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.